Hi guys, good afternoon. Welcome back to the Black Jersey. I've got a short film assessment for my university that I'm about to start filming very soon. So I'm not going to be very active in the next few months or so because filming a 20-minute film doesn't exactly take 20 minutes. But I wanted to jump on my phone, just film this short little thing about my thoughts on the fact that the Rugby Championship will continue to have a 20-minute red card. I'm not very impressed with it at all. As you guys know, the Southern Hemisphere discipline in the Rugby Championship was absolutely atrocious. There were so many cards, and I don't think I want to pull up a resource as to how many there were because I'd be mortified. But yeah, I've got an article on my computer that I'm reading to you right now, and its titles, "This is a great decision. Red card rules changed for the Rugby Championship." I think it's just disgraceful because in a podcast with rugby analyst and Hakatime Rugby, I brought up the fact that I think that the 20-minute red cards are smaller punishments than being sent off for the rest of the game. Obviously, the player who's received the card can't return to the pitch, but after 20 minutes, they can be replaced. I'm not a fan of it whatsoever, guys, because as we saw with examples such as Darcy Swain and Angus Ta'avao during the mid-year tests this July, it was definitely the Southern Hemisphere nations that seems to be getting the cards a bit more often than the North, because over in the North, Charlie Ewels with his upright tackle sent off for 79 minutes for his red card. No one replaced him after 20 minutes, anything like that. And, you know, he was properly punished. Sorry there, I've just got a small bit of a cold. And over here, the punishment isn't as large. So while the individual player is getting suspended, the team's not suffering for the loss. And so I guess the fact that it's a bit more lenient here allows the teams to get away with worse behaviour. As the article says, the 20-minute red card will be used during the Rugby Championship after SANZAAR decided to reintroduce the law trial. The ruling has been used for the past 3 Super Rugby seasons and in last year's Rugby Championship, but has so far been rejected by World Rugby for a global trial with July tests played under traditional rules, allowing red-carded players to be replaced after 20 minutes. Southern Hemisphere teams are continuing to push for its acceptance and will use it to gather more supporting evidence in the upcoming series that involves Australia, New Zealand, South Africa and Argentina. This is a great decision for the Rugby Championship and follows on for its application in Super Rugby, SANZAAR boss Brendan Morris says. No, mate, World Rugby has clearly come along and said this is not acceptable. A lot of the Northern Hemisphere nations are saying, nah, bro, we don't want this. So stop trying to push this through. Like, the authoritarian behaviour of SANZAAR in this instance, I believe, is undermining the authority of World Rugby, who is the governing body of the international game. You know, I've never been a fan of how all those clubs like Saracens, Racing 92, Toulon, just don't care what World Rugby says. They just select as many players as possible. Sometimes they're not willing to let Pacific Island players out to play for Samoa, Tonga and Fiji during their windows because there's no big international window kind of thing. As soon as English players come back from the Six Nations and into the Premiership, they're straight away playing, whereas like the URC allows the Irish and the Scottish players to get a rest, same with the Welsh. This whole thing is just so annoying to me. Like, SANZAAR just doesn't seem to like the fact that you're allowed to disagree in a democratic society. Like, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to cover the Rugby Championship for you guys because I don't like just putting my camera there, just speaking to a camera and recounting what happened in a match. Like, I got to get the full context of things. I want to explain to you guys how certain events in the match took place, do my analytics, show my stats. But with SANZAAR and the fact that they remove pretty much all footage of Super Rugby matches, regardless of whether they follow fair use, has me worried of like, oh man, how on earth am I going to cover this competition? Especially considering I'm so busy with, you know, my short film that I mentioned at the start of the video. SANZAAR, I'm not a fan of what you've done, guys. I think you should respect the authority of World Rugby And instead of trying to say, oh no, the rules are unfair, they're not nice. No, bro, start asking the players to stop getting themselves into situations that are going to get them cards. You know, like, oh, there was no intent. Bro, it's not an excuse to be clumsy, man. You know, these are grown men. They're professional athletes. I'm on record saying that I'm not really a big fan of Scott Barrett being in the All Blacks because of all the cards he gets. As good a player as Barrett is, discipline is so important in international sport, especially in a contact sport like rugby. I've always loved playing it, but I had to hang the boots up at 17 because of this. So yes, Sansa, stop trying to push through this absolutely ridiculous 20-minute red card trial law and let the governing body just run its own game, guys. Like, Sansa might as well just start off their own league if they're going to keep behaving like this. I think that, you know, other organizations such as Six Nations, URC, are far nicer to the fans, but because the All Blacks, my country, play in Sansa competitions, I've got to suck it up. All good, guys. Sorry about the low quality with the camera and stuff, no graphics, blah, blah. I don't have a lot of time these days, but just keep your eyes out for any updates I give you. Much appreciated, guys. Cheers for watching.